because it's extraordinarily strong.
Yeah. So first game of the day, guys, we're going to be jumping into Reborn versus CNF-Esports. We're going to jump into this draft. I hope you enjoy this sexy draft screen here, guys.
Yeah, it's so pretty.
So pretty. So nice.
Ooh, you sound like Al Pacino there for a second.
So up first, guys, again, we're gonna be looking at bans and picks here. Countess Kalari, very, very strong. I expect to see some bans for them. I also expect to see Bellica bans because Bellica right now is bonkers. She is bonkers. The amount of damage casters do early game, that combo is so easy to land. So it's going to be interesting to see how teams draft this new one. Bellica, there it is. Like I said, Reborn right off the bat. They said Bellica, get it out. And
Muriel is a hero we haven't spoken much about either. She has sort of risen to the top of the support game. We've always seen it's been Decker and Bellica when she's running that support position.
Right.
Yeah, she's gonna be taken out of the equation here, and no surprise right there. With the way the pace of the game has changed across the board, a hero like Muriel becomes invaluable. At the same time, also the way scaling has changed, and every single hero has changed the meta significantly. And she just it allowed her to rise up, and now she's being banned out. It's something we haven't seen, but for those of you who have been around in the competitive scene for a long, long time, do not expect the same sort of drafting at all as you're going to see heroes, I think, like Countess, Wukong, so on and so forth, that we haven't seen in competitive. Hello, the Iggy and the Scorch.
I love that. The biggest thing that has me excited about this event, one is going to be, I'm going to call it what it is, the cheese. I'm excited to see what teams do.
The stinky cheese.
How they exploit some of these cards, but different heroes we haven't seen. There's Iggy and Scorch. We haven't seen Iggy and Scorch in competitive play since Legacy days.
Yeah.
That's how long it's been. Monolith came out, Iggy and Scorch went on vacation, and now he's back from vacation, and he's ready to burn shit down.
There's Gadget and Severog. Gadget, another hero that we didn't see much of, but her sticky mines, literally, if you get hit by 3 sticky mines, you either die or have to back. Very, very strong early on throughout the course of the game. Her mid-game presence is, her ultimate does a devastating amount of damage. And Severog, he's still just a really good jungler. That hasn't changed.
No, it hasn't. Up next is going to be Narbash and Murdoch. Narbash right now, I put his top support in the game. Narbash is scaling his
over
ultimate.
Muriel.
I put him over Muriel. I think Narbash is amazing. I think Narbash deals really well with a lot of the burst damage casters have, and depending on your build, he can be just an absolute bully. So Narbash, Murdoch back in the fold. We've seen it's been like Twin Blast, Revenant have kind of been the kings of the carry. So it's nice to have kind of Murdoch. I think Murdoch is going to definitely make a more appearances in competitive play with this.
There he is. Sun Wukong, the hero. I don't think we've seen a single game in competitive since he's come out. And there he is, being picked up in the second phase of the draft here for CNF Esports. And yeah, it's a hero there's been a lot of discourse about in the social media platforms. And oh, baby, when's the last time we saw one of these? I'm so excited. This makes me so happy.
Richter, boys. Richter. He's back. Man, we've got so far a really solid draft over on the side of CNF Esports. Great mid laner, incredible jungler, that ability to push with Wukong, and of course Richter. If you can land those hooks and those silences, you can shut down the offlane.
I have to imagine this is a support Richter with the Severog pick, and I am not sold on support Richter at all. I actually think he is incredibly strong inside of the jungle, but obviously Severog's on the field and Wukong as well, so Severog is very telling that he's going to be the jungler. We'll see how he runs as a support here. He does have the highest health scaling in the game, but when you're playing him in a position of a support, you really aren't able to take advantage of that.
Depends on the player, because most supports will be roaming quite a bit, especially with this new the speed of the game now. If you can farm effectively, and we haven't seen it, so Grim is going to be picked up. I wonder if Involve's playing Grim in the mid lane there.
Oh, it's against a Gadget too. I'm a little bit concerned about that. Obviously, Grim does have the deflect shield, but deflect shield at level 1 is a 18 or 24 second cooldown, and Sticky Bomb is now a 6-8 second cooldown. So he's going to be harassed quite a bit, assuming that is the case here. We haven't talked about lanes. Duo mid was the hotness for all of the Paragon exhibition qualifiers, as well as the PCLs prior leading up to that. I wonder if the laning is going to, stick to the duo mid, if we're going to go back to the good old 1-1-2 configuration.
I think we're going to go back to the 1-1-2, especially looking at this comp. I expect to see Involve or Grim Gadget mid lane, Sevarog Rampage jungle. Like 1-1-2 is what I'm thinking here. If Richter is able to land these hooks onto Iggy and Scorch, and they don't let Iggy and Scorch set up, I think they can really punish him. But it's all going to come down to allowing Iggy and Scorch not to set up. So there's your draft, guys. This looks like it's going to be an interesting game. Reborn,
all the
CNF-Esports. Shane, I haven't casted in a long time. I'm ready to just jump into this.
Man. Guys, welcome to the first Paragon Competitive League of hashtag New Dawn. Thank you for all of you who have supported us up until this point, and this is going to be a good time today. A lot of new things, a lot of interesting things, and we're going to see how this runs out. We're going to announce over here in blue is going to be CNF-Esports, Bornsey on Twin Blast, Mournfall on the Gadget, Mighty U picking up the Sevarog that was it a tangerine orange, gold, amber? It's amber. a little homage. Tabernacle on Richter, and then Heck the Lion picking up everyone's favorite hero in this patch, Wukong.
Over on the side of Reborn, we've got Master Splinter on Narbash. NATO Sick is going to be playing carry on Murdoch. J. Leo Grande in the jungle on Rampage. Reflect is on Iggy and Scorch, looking like a robotic dinosaur.
Just like
and
the person he is.
Involve in the mid lane. So we were totally wrong. CNF-Esports is doing that 1-2-1. They've got Tabernacle and Twin Blast in the mid against Grim here. So that means Grim's going to have to be a little bit careful in this lane. He has picked up a Fawn of Experience. These are the things we need to look out for, Shane, is how are people building that? There's so many interesting cards. We've got 2 Fawn of the Experiences over on 3 Fawn of Experience over on the side of Reborn. That's going to give them 4 experience every 10 seconds to give them those levels, which means, does Heck the Lion have one? Which means Narbash, Master Splinter, should hit level 5 before Wukong does in that support lane. So expect for some, about the 6-minute mark, a little bit of aggression coming out of him, and possibly that ult online, depending on how well they farm over there.
So, dual mid being played here on the side of CNF-Esports. The big reason why we see this is it allows you to have river buff control, but more importantly, it allows you to invade as the strong side jungle of your opponent and get the green buff. First hook in the mid lane is going to land over onto Involve. He's going to use that displacement bomb to create some distance, and he's narrowly going to be able to get away. He's going to have to go back to base here. But yeah, keep your eye at the Richter and the Twin Blast in the mid lane. They're going to be rotating around the river buff, but more importantly, it's all about that strong side river control. At the Paragon exhibition in the finals against Think Twice, that was Reborn's Achilles heel, is their jungle would get invaded over and over and over and over. And I think that is maybe something CNF is trying to exploit here. I think Reborn, though, has probably learned their ways and will respond a little bit better here after that.
So Involve already picking up a couple different cards here. He's picked up Advanced Evolution. He is going Caster Grim. And he's picked up Rejuvenator. Advanced Evolution, every time he levels, will restore 5 health and 5% mana and 5% health every time he levels up. And he's picked up Rejuvenator, which is basically just a mana card. He's trying to hit that level 5 so he can start spamming that 15-second ultimate. Tabernacle coming back in here. There's the Displace. I don't know if he's going to get the hook. We do have a Gadget versus Iggy setup. Reflect versus Mournfall. Iggy wins this lane to me. I mean, yes, Iggy the sticky bomb.
Lane, period.
Well, Iggy wins this lane against everybody, right? Yeah. So, I mean, if Mournfall can get this, the mines, sure. But Iggy with Burning Sensation can just deal a ton of damage. He can be a massive bully. And if he sets up, Mournfall doesn't really have the ability to clear out those turrets because he's not dealing as much damage as a carry would. And so this just allows Reflect to set up, get comfortable, hit level 5, and blow up this Gadget.
So comparing the jungler's Dex build over here, we do have, it appears to be Order on the side of Sevarog, and then for J. Leo Grande, he's going with Growth and Death. Picking up Call the Weak, which is that card that execute minions when they hit 20%, the next auto attack kills them instantly, which actually, I believe, has the highest theoretical kill time inside of the jungle, helps you rotate a little bit faster than opposed to maybe some of the other growth cards. But yeah, Death plus Growth is a very, very common affinity combination. We've seen with junglers, obviously, you get very strong cards like Call the Weak to enable your uptime your inside of the jungle, but more importantly, Flame of Zekin, as well as the region inside of the jungle, just to make sure you're always a presence across the map, which is what you want to be, especially on a hero like Rampage.
I wonder if Leo's going to go with a Drain build, or he's going to get a Curse build, where when he gets close after the ultimate already online for Involve, already poking away with that. But whether he picks up those cards that allow him when he gets close to a target that is going to deal damage or deal damage to himself and the enemy, pop that ultimate, go off, and just jump in that back line and blow up those carries. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out as we rotate through the game. We've got cards for Tabernac. Tabernac has picked up some wards here. He's picked up Lamplighter, which is the 300 gold ward in the Order Affinity. It's a consumable. It's a consumable. Wukong getting...
Okay, Tabernac is rotating around the corner here, a little bit late to the party, but it is Master Splinter. He's going to get torn apart here. The Song of My People. He's got plenty of mana to get himself through there. Thunk is going to drain his mana a little bit more here. The pursuit continues, but now Nadosic is coming out from the defense of his tower to provide his team some support, as well as J. Leo Grande rotating over.
What
there
a
you have
rotation.
it. The first blood going over to the side of Reborn, and they get a kill on a very elusive target, and a target you want to keep down. Heck the Lion on the Wukong. So well played by Wukong, or by Reborn, rather.
Well played by Reborn. That was a great thunk out of Master Splinter there. He ended up shutting them down. He's able to run away. We've got great rotation coming out of Leo Grande. I mean, Shane, we're 5 minutes into the game.
Ooh.
This new state of Paragon is I'm not gonna say it, but I am gonna say it. A lot of people will say death volley. We see a lot more combat early in Paragon than we've seen in the past. What I want to see out of these junglers here is rotation. How fast can they get to a fight? That was a good rotation from Tabernac there, trying to help his team. But Master Splinter, again, Narvesh is really strong right now with his healing. He's got so many ways to escape. Yep. He's got CC, and that's what we saw. We saw him utilize his kit very effectively, and proper rotation from the jungle, able to help secure that kill there. So very good job from Reborn here. Shane,
what up?
6 minutes into the game, we got to look at some new things. We've got gold now. We've got gold. Instead of amber, when you pick up last hits, towers, kills, you get gold. You use that gold to buy attributes. When you buy those attributes, you use those attributes to buy gems. Depending on the gold and where you're placing it, you get different perks. You can get armor and regen. You can get mana and mana regen. You can get damage and attack speed, depending on where you're flirting on. And then, of course, every 6 levels, you pick up gems. One of the popular gems you see in solo queue or in public games is multi-shot on carries. Yep. Do you think we're going to see multi-shot or life steal? Let me take a look. We actually have a multi-shot gem on NATO 6. So this is going to enable them a lot of wave clear when they get to that point, but it's a matter of getting to that point and farming safely. So there's so many different things to talk about now with new Paragon. Like we have to focus on what's the most important. Are we looking at how quickly these guys are leveling? Involves a level 7 change. Tabernac's sitting at 4.
Yeah, well, it's that support Richter in the mid lane. Very critical of that sort of role. Supports, generally, you do, obviously, are going to hit level 5 a little bit later, but Richter is not, his ultimate is very important to his contributions, because when it comes to Richter, if you land a hook but there's no follow-up, then at that point, you have just sort of counter-initiated on top of your own team. That ultimate is really what is able to secure kills, especially once players start to get a little bit more tanky involved. Getting aggressed on here, but he's going to smash that right mouse button and be able to casually walk away, no problem. He's on point with his deflect shields thus far. But going back to the NATO sick with Murdoch, you said that he doesn't have lifesteal. He's gone with the multi-shot, and I think the reason why I like that so much is that he one of his affinities is Death, and Death has access to lifesteal cards, especially later on. Vampiric Blade, I believe Vampiric Blade.
Yeah.
That grants you an obscene amount of lifesteal. So he still is going to have lifesteal. He won't get it as early, but he's going to have the best of both worlds in this situation.
Yeah. Reflect over here, he's kind of set up a little bit. Mournfall trying to land these sticky bombs. As those grenades land, I mean, it's just a huge chunk of health on the Iggy here. Again, he has really been bullying this lane. Mournfall hasn't had a chance to leave past the gold buff, is where Mournfall's kind of been. He's just been stuck here. With Reflex got 3 turrets right now. We know the range of these turrets. If he decides to get aggressive here, Reflex can get aggressive and really blow this target up.
Taking a look at Wukong, growth cards thus far, pretty much just sustain, obviously Flame of Zekin, that Cultivate card that builds up damage on minions, on everything, minions, raptors, or primes, enables you to take very, very early game objectives on a hero who also allows you to take early game
rotation
objectives.
From Mighty U here. He's got purple buff. Reflect doesn't know he's there. I think he's just going to back off. Reflect is set up. There's 3 turrets down. Mournfall has no mana and health. that'd be a very weird decision to jump in and try to take that engage with their.
Would it though? Would it not? I mean, mid lane involved up against the tower, but Mighty U is inside of the Shadow Plane. Opens with a Soul Siphon as he is only level 4 and doesn't have the Colossal Blow quite yet. A jungler only being level 4 at this stage of the game is definitely not something you want to see. You see the level discrepancy there between J-Leo and Mighty U. J-Leo level 7 to level 4 Displacement Bomb. Gonna knock him away, was looking for the little alley-oop to send him back towards his team. Meanwhile, Hornsey gets picked off on either side of the field, so the Reborn are rotating all over across the map and making things happen.
Yeah, Nadosic picked up that kill on the Swim Blast with that super sweet laser beam of death from across the map. Does look like that Mighty U is going to fall as well, and they're continuing to be aggressive in the mid lane here. There's another ultimate from Involve, Shane.
Is he hacking? What is that cooldown?
Every 15 seconds, he has picked up Invader Mage.
In some trouble. The damage from Tesla Dome is snaring him up, but he's going to be okay. He's going to be able to get away. The tier 2 tower is going to stay alive, so sure, the ultimate didn't get any kill, but at least it did sound the horns of retreat for Reborn, so that way the jump pads are still up and running, because you know how crucial those are to morale. I think the single most important thing for morale is having your jump pads alive, to be honest.
If your jump pads fall, it's GG.
Surrender. Yep. Don't do that. We're kidding. Please don't do that.
Get it out. Get it out. So, okay, is this a bug?
What's up, man? I don't know. Is it? I don't know.
There's a very good possibility. For a second there, Nadosic had Thunder Cleaver on. It was a bug. It was a bug. It was a visual bug. I fixed it. We're good. What is Nadosic building? I want to talk about this.
That is the most meta thing I can think of. Thunder Cleaver on Murdoch, still continuing to build into those Chaos cards. The Guardian Piercer, pound for pound, gives you the most DPS early on than any other card in the game right now. It's giving you both arm pin and power, so that's a very common card to be picked up on any sort of DPS. Is the Guardian Piercer or the Knowledge equivalent, which gives you ability damage and spell penetration. Mid lane, Nadosic, or both death rather. But mid lane, you see the Twin Blast just taking some harassment damage, that long range poke coming out from Murdoch. Raptors have not yet been rotated on, but we are going to see them being picked up here. And it's just going to be fairly clean for Reborn, as CNF aren't really in a position to contend with.
No, at this point, we've had really good rotation out of Reborn. Reborn is looking at their team levels. They just have the advantage here. Boulder is going to miss. Leo Grande was going after Mighty U there. But Nadosic wants it. He's like, come back, come back.
He's thirsty. He was in there trying to get a kill, but he's going to be hitting up in the high ground, continuing after the Raptors to rotate in the mid lane and continue to keep pressure on this map. The Reflect has gone completely unmitigated here. Mournfall has struggled as one would expect, laning 1v1 up against.
Nadosic is in a little bit of trouble here. Master Splinter's going to go ahead and drop that crash.
Oh man, Mighty U
is just barely living. Rotation from Sun Wukong. Boulder's going to miss. Master Splinter just keeping him alive. Master Splinter finally falls. I mean, the regen was able to keep Nadosic alive. Great thunks out of Master Splinter. His ultimate got
his laser down. He's looking for long arm of the law, waiting for it. There's a GTFO on Heck the Lion, but he's not going to pull the trigger on the long arm of the law. That's something we haven't seen. We used to see this back on Legacy when double carry was a thing, where people would go Grim Murdoch and they would just have this long range where they would just use GTFO and long arm of the law, and from a long distance away, all of a sudden you eager be almost ever. There's the long arm of the law. Reflect setting it up and shooting that laser from across the field, and that should enable this tier 2 tower push. But yeah, Song of My People is the healing from Narbash. A lot of people don't realize that is one of the most effective healing tools in the game right now.
It is. So with Narbash has this at late game, depending on the gems he uses, you can basically leave that on all the time, and just heal your team constantly. There's so many different cards that he can pick up that will affect that and make him heal and make his heal that much stronger. Right now, we're seeing a very early game build out of supports, because supports right now, the one thing that makes a support is their kit. He doesn't really need all of the cards to make him a strong hero.
Yep.
They just make his kit better. And right now he's just trying to get those levels. He's still got Font of Experience on. He's got himself a supply agent, which well, he just changed to an Invader Mage. He's going for power and armor penetration. So he's just changed it up a bit here. But they are He's a really strong hero. His heal is absolutely insane early, mid-game. It starts to fall off a little bit because damage can really start to spike. But Shane, that's why I said he's one of the best. Mid to early game, you can't get through that heal unless you focus down a target.
No one has any sort of blight that's online right now, and early game blight really isn't available. Or Prime taken underneath the nose of CNF-Esports, not even if they were there. That's one of the big strengths of Iggy, is the moment he gets those turrets set up around Or Prime, it's contending Or Prime in that pit against Iggy turrets is just, I don't want to say it's impossible, but it's hard. It's almost impossible. Very, very difficult. Mid lane push is going to be coming here. Tabernacle's just level 5 and 15 minutes into this game, so he's going to be very, very squishy. It's going to be Master Splinter. He's going to get snared up. Here comes the Crash Bang Boom. Immediately Mighty U tries to initiate, but the level discrepancies are just a little bit too much here as they go all in onto a support. And 2 go down for it, but keeping it 2 for 2, even thus far, pound for pound. And now J. Leo trying to rip a page out of the book of Reflect and kill the carry underneath the core. Not going to happen, though, as he's going to jump away. All the meanwhile involved has been chipping away at the core, at the inhibitor here. And they should be able to pick up this mid inhibitor. Looking for more of the displacement. GTFO, not going to be enough damage, but still. Reborn, they give up 2, but more importantly, they get the inhibitor here and a successful push. And don't forget, there's an Iggy on the map, too, just casually pushing up through.
Yeah, he's just doing Iggy things over there. One of the cards he picked up, Shane, to really deal with the ability damage that comes out of casters early is Arcane Dancer. It gives you power, it gives you health, but the big one is spell protection. Reduces ability damage taken by 85% for 6 seconds. So he can really use that to mitigate a lot of the damage that Mornfall can apply. And again, still being aggressive. There's 3 here, but he's got turrets down. They don't want to get in range of this.
They literally can't.
They just, there's at this point, he's just got so much control. That's one of the strengths of Iggy, is he can just control his lane. Again, allowing an Iggy to set up is really going to hinder them. Mornfall against this Iggy, this is not a great choice to put against Iggy because he just doesn't have the damage to deal with these turrets. The health on these turrets is high-ish. It's high-ish, Shane.
Yeah.
There's another ultimate coming out of NATO 6, picking up that kill on Twin Blast here. But Reflect, he's got this jungle protected. He's like, he wants somebody to rotate behind him, Shane. He's got 4 turrets just sitting here, waiting for that rotation. I don't think it's going to come, though. Master Splinter.
When we saw Iggy and Scorch on Legacy, it was a tank Iggy and Scorch, and that theme continues here on many different high-level players. I know Cert has been building a tanky Iggy, and now also Reflect picking up that, as you mentioned, that Arcane Dancer, which just makes it pretty much completely mitigates any large ability-based damage.
Yeah.
Continues there. Now Mornfall's in some trouble there. GTFO from behind is going to pick up the kill on him through 2 steep, while mid lane is always going to have to be under pressure. J. Leo is pretty much being more of a distraction than anything else, the rest of his roster to push down the team tower, and there falls not controlled slowly but surely, continuing to get restricted here against CNF-Esports.
So taking a look at the carries here, Shane, we've got NATO Sick, he spent a total of 34,000 gold. He's 20 points into the agility tree, 14 points into the vitality. He's picked up heavy hitter. He's got guard piercer up, and he's got overclock droid. Overclock droid gives him power and attack speed. When he pops it, he gains 32 attack speed and 150 movement speed, so he can stay glued to that target while dealing significant damage.
Mighty U got a good initiation, a colossal blow, tossing him under the tower, but the damage coming out from Matos is simply too much. The initiation is pretty much non-existent on the side of CNF as they swept in and tried to get a kill. They were able to pick it up on Leo. Now NATO 6 might be getting ahead of himself as Mornfall gets the sticky bomb and picks up a kill as well. So it's 3 for 2. Reborn is still taking the advantage thus far. Mornfall doesn't have much mana, so his tools to keep this inhibitor alive is falling in very quickly, and now he's going to have to go back to the core as he's under siege by siege minions. A sloppy initiation from Reborn, but it still came out ahead of them just because they have such a massive lead in levels right now. And that, again, Reflect wasn't even a part of that fight. He's just been pushing the entire time. Yeah,
Mornfall with a good defense there. He did pick up a triple kill. He got the kill on Involve, NATO Sick, and 2 Leo Grande there. So good defense from Mornfall, trying to keep that tower alive. We see minion the strength of the minion wave right now.
Who's the MVP?
Minions are always the MVP, Shane. We've been saying this for a year, brother. We've been saying it for a year. Minions are the MVP, and they continue to be the MVP here. They're really gonna have to focus on the mid wave here. They have a way to really deal with this lane with Heck No Line. I mean, Wukong can just decimate waves with his attack speed. You put on Sacred Alchemy, which he's just picked up here, which is the shield. It gives you 18 power, 20 attack, 240 health.
And that card is, yeah.
But every time you gain shield equal to 20% of your basic damage. So he just sits in lanes. He's going to worry about these minions, try to keep that shield online. And hopefully now that he has that online, he can start dealing with this Iggy here because of the shields and give him hopefully a little bit of mitigation. He's got to have a minion wave though, but he has to be able to get onto Reflect. And with turrets down like this, I don't know if he's going to be able to do it.
He's just behind on levels, level 13 to level 16. Of course, another thing with hashtag A New Dawn is you can get to level 20 now. It starts to pad your stats a little bit. Obviously, level 15 is when you get your maximum level here. But I think the biggest thing here is the level discrepancies. There is an economical discrepancy in terms of gold as well.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest thing here is the level discrepancy. They just Sevarog got a beautiful initiation, but he just lacks health, and they just pretty much with the double carry, single target damage of both Involve and NATO Sick, he died by the time his team could even follow up. That's where they're falling behind the most on. For them to have a hope inside of this game, they're going to have to play extraordinarily conservative, let that mid lane push down, but even then, they're starting to just fall under trouble. And another thing is, the caster Grim, he is a mid to late and late game sort of build. He just gets better as the game goes on, and that GTFO is just going to start chunking people down. NATO Sick picks up the kill over on the Gadget. Morkfall gets taken out. The tool they needed to defend a siege is already off the map. Colossal Blow used, but this is just simply desperation tactics coming out from CNF-Esports. They know they're behind. They're trying to keep their inhibitor alive as best as they can, but eventually they are falling down like dominoes. Just Wukong trying to push as best he can, separating the lane and mid lane, but I don't think it's going to be enough. The core is getting swarmed. This is going to be Reborn coming into A New Dawn and picking up the first broadcasted win for PCL in version 0.42.
Yeah, 21-minute game match times are definitely a bit faster than what we've seen. Reborn playing Reborn though. I mean, this is Reborn we've seen. They've got an economical advantage. They've got a level advantage. They have literally, Shane, all of the advantages. Every single one of the advantages, they have them right now. Iggy sitting at 17, 150 last hits. He went, like you said, a little bit more tanky builds. We've got Leo, who is actually going into that drain build. So he picked up like a Withering Shadows. So when he pops his ultimate, he gets onto a target. He gets onto that target. He's going to be dealing a lot of damage just passively being in the area because of some of those cards he was picking up. So we saw a very quick game out of Reborn. CNF-Esports a little bit outclassed. We've got Reborn, who they took second place at PEX. They're the most winningest team in Paragon Competitive League. I'm never going to stop saying that. I love the word winningest. I need someone to either overthrow that or whatnot so I can continue to use it. But Reborn just doing what Reborn does, playing their game, picking up another win for Team Reborn there.
Yeah, very dominating game. I think that was to be expected coming out here. CNF had some familiar names inside the competitive scene, but I think with this new patch, this new a new dawn, as everyone as the social media says, is really inspired people who maybe haven't been a presence inside the competitive scene in a long time to start to make a comeback here. So newer teams versus the veterans. Reborn continuing to show a dominating performance there. And the drafts, man, that's the thing I'm most excited about. We're seeing Grimmix, mid, Iggy and Scorch, Wukong, Richter. It's a wonderful time. And we're going to see how teams continue to mix things up and see who I think this right here, this weekend is going to be determined by who adapts the best to this build. Who has figured it out the quickest,
right? Is
the team with the biggest advantage.
So when we got asked a lot, and I got asked a lot, why are you guys running a Paragon Competitive League right now and this is the community saying the current state of Paragon.
Some outspoken minority. Yes.
Right. Not everybody. So for us, I think the patch is incredibly fun.
Oh my gosh.
We won't talk about, we're not going to talk about balance issues, but we're going to talk about, I think the patch is incredibly fun. I wanted to see what teams could, in a short period of time, because it's only been a week and a half, adapt to the new patch. We knew stuff wasn't going to be balanced because Epic said, hey, guys, just in case you're curious, stuff's not going to be balanced. So who adapts to it? Who's able to pick up some of these strats? And like we talked about at the top of the show, who's going to be able to bring the cheese? I want cheese platters all day long, Shane. I want 3 or 4 Flame of Legends because I don't know if you remember this. Some of the chat will remember this. They got a nickname called Honor the Reborn because in one game,
yes, that's right.
that one weekend, Reborn ran Honor the Pure on
5
everybody.
people.
And so I want to see something like that. I want to see strats like that. I want to see these guys have fun. And then we're providing Epic data that they need, watching these top players play and looking at the cards they're using. And hopefully they can see, this is what we can do. So I'm excited for this. I think we saw a good game one out of Reborn there. We're going to be jumping into, I believe, Grand Gaming versus CNF-Esports next. We're going to take just a quick 3-minute break, guys. We're going to jump back into the action. Thank you for watching Paragon Competitive League. Thank you for supporting the competitive community. And we'll see you guys in just a minute.